I like turtles.
Thank you, Dr. Weinstein. And this is breaking. We now may have a new, emerging concern for 2020. Minkitis. Minkitis isn't actually a thing, but apparently some minks have gotten infected with COVID. As we had heard earlier on during the pandemic, there had been instances where we had seen human to feline transmission. Apparently at one point, even I believe a lion may have gotten it, perhaps a tiger, but apparently we didn't see it coming back to humans. And then it ran to minks. So apparently we could see a 2020 mink genocide. That's some arguments on whether or not that term actually applies. Does that not come down to, are minks people? Well, there are people that argue that. I tend to think that minks are people, but essentially we might end up slaughtering 17 million sentient creatures on this planet, because apparently it started to come back to us. So we'll pop over here. As we can see, COVID mink analysis shows mutations are not dangerous yet. It's always very concerning. Oh yeah, this is from Nature, by the way. They do science and stuff. So yes, the analysis found the mutations probably won't jeopardize vaccines. The scientists say the rampant spread means animals still need to be killed. As we can see, that does appear to be some factory farming minks. Oh my god, jeopardize. Health officials in Denmark have released genetic and experimental data on a cluster of SARS-CoV-2 mutations circulating in farmed mink and people, days after they announced mutations could jeopardize effectiveness of potential COVID-19 vaccines. So, essentially what we got going on over here is you develop the vaccine. The vaccine's specifically designed for the primary strains of COVID. I believe there was an L and an S version, but more or less it was the same. Apparently, within one of the groups, they did notice some genetic variants that wasn't too concerning, but then again, there was at least one issue where basically it modified the spike protein, and that could be a concern. But they said they've accounted for, I believe, the couple hundred people that actually had got it, hopefully. So, we'll pop back over. So, news of the mutation prompted the Danish Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, to announce on November 4th plans to end mink farming for the foreseeable future and cull some 17 million animals, sparking a fierce debate of whether such an action was legal. Scientists were careful not to raise the alarm until they saw the data. And this is what's really concerning right here, because apparently they're trying to slow this up right now, but it doesn't look good for our furry little friends. It's basically, they're saying that it's essentially necessary, and we actually go into the mutations here. Fonager says researchers in Denmark have sequenced viral samples from 40 mink farms and identified some 170 coronavirus variants. He adds that in viral samples from people representing about 1/5 of the country's total COVID-confirmed cases, they found some 300 people with variants that contain mutations thought to have first emerged in mink. That is something we really want to keep a close eye on. And they totally should, because this is one of the concerns that even Professor Weinstein and Professor Hang had brought up before. The sheer fact that, oh, well, if this ends up running around long enough, maybe it'll mutate. Yeah, it's got to some animals. It never seemed to have come back to us in a variant, or at least that we've observed. And, yeah, this could be a problem. I wonder if this has anything to do with, that protein resembling a pangolin. I have no idea. I'm not a biologist, but all I know is I thought that was also a small mammal. Just saying. So, of particular concern is a variant containing a unique combination of mutations called Cluster 5, which was found in 5 farms and 12 people in the North Jutland region of the country's north. Longear says Cluster 5 variants causes 3 amino acid changes and 2 deletions in the spike protein. Preliminary cell experiments suggest that antibodies from some people who have recovered from COVID-19 found it more difficult to recognize the Cluster 5 variant than viruses that did not carry the Cluster 5 mutation. This suggests the variant could be less responsive to antibody treatments or vaccines, and informed the government's decision to cull the farm. According to a letter from Denmark's chief veterinary officer to the World Organization for Animal Health, it is the right thing to do in a situation where the vaccine, which is currently the light at the end of a very dark tunnel, is in danger. Danish Minister for Food and Fisheries, Mogens Jensen, said in a public statement on the 5th of November. Don't look good. It don't look good. How do we get here? It seems things are locking down again in some areas. It seems like toilet paper is vanishing again. Why does this keep happening? Maybe we can learn something from this here New York Times article. Popping over here. As we can see. Opinion. A lesson for humanity from 17 million doomed creatures. This pandemic has taught us anything, that we cannot escape the world we have shaped. Brought to us by Margaret Renke. Oh, look at them, this little paws. I like the little animals. But, as we can see here, oh, yes, the miracles of technology, go P ratio. But, yeah, you see them there, they don't know what's going on. It was the photo of the mink in Denmark, soon to be slaughtered, that hit me the hardest. In it, the animals peer from their cages with open curiosity, ears pricked forward, clever fingers grasping the wires of the cage doors as they study their surroundings. They're clearly trying to figure out what's happening. And just to clarify, this is an opinion article. This is an opinion, and this is totally an opinion, but this is something that I think hits home for a lot of folks. So it basically kind of reiterates a lot of things that was covered in Nature here, goes into the minks, and basically how we got here and how we should rethink about a lot of things that we're doing. How just all of our actions, the creation of just even cities in and of themselves, it's literally just shaping the environment, shaping everything around us, suggesting how we live, how we work, how we play. And now you look at what's happening with everything that's going on around us, and it just kind of gets you. You're like, oh, maybe I kind of took these things for granted. Maybe all that time I spent cooped up by myself and just wasting away life, I could have been outside. And now basically this is the thing to do. Well, it might not be that much of a change for somebody like me. It's like, this sucks, because you can't necessarily go out. If you look in more rural areas where you got lower population density, you tend not to see as many issues. Along a lot of the coasts where you get very high population density, a lot of folks living really close to each other. Something like this, even though it is an airborne Ebola, the sheer fact that, oh, yeah, it causes flu-like things, this is new, we don't necessarily know everything that's going to happen. Oh yeah, it's also like 5 times spreads as easily than the standard flu, which if you affect 1 to 2 people, it's like, oh, guess what? You're probably going to affect 5 or 10 people. And then all of a sudden, okay, all those people, they definitely probably ain't going to die. Some of them will. But if the hospital beds are full, better not have a heart attack, better not have an accident, there ain't nowhere for you to go. Hospital is full. And that's where we run into our issue. And even Massachusetts' own Governor Baker, he kind of explained this the other day. I voted for the dude. Am I necessarily the biggest fan? No, not really, but he's basing it off of what he's seeing. He's a Republican governor. He's in a blue state that isn't a state. We're a Commonwealth. And we got all this going on, but I just want to get back to this opinion article real quick. And we'll scroll down. No, okay, that was basically it there. She basically just goes into the actual history of the mink and everything, just as far as here. And just, as we can see here, again, this is opinion. It's not news that life on Earth is out of balance. We already know that human behavior, not just burning fossil fuels, but also in food production, wilderness fragmentation, habitat degradation, and overpopulation, among other planetary depredations, has imperiled everything from global biodiversity to the actual weather. In the general public, however, warnings from scientists and activists have fallen mostly on deaf ears, even when those depredations come with a cost to us. Well, we'll leave it there because it is mostly an opinion article, but if you look at how we basically live, if everyone had a lot more distance between them, we didn't come in contact as much and maybe living and working kind of almost in enclosed boxes, I don't think this would really be as much of an issue. We just gotta go through, it would be a thing. But as far as it goes for this, we don't want to crush the healthcare system. Can we do smarter things? Should we likely have done a 6 to 8 week basically lockdown as best we can and just have the very basic logistics? If you literally need to deploy the National Guard and the military to get people food and supplies and toilet paper to live, then freaking do this. Get it done. That's the thing. People just are going insane. People are literally committing suicide. They're losing their homes. They're losing their livelihoods. This is affecting everybody to just such a degree, and it's like, folks, can't we do better? I know I can. I just gotta make that decision. So, here's to doing better. Thank you all for watching. Peace out, everybody. Be safe, and long live the Obelbomb.
Are we memeing ourselves into oblivion?
Yes.